Warning, this video does have some graphic content. If you are really squeamish, you may want to think about skipping through some parts of this. I do show the actual surgery. It's not a very invasive surgery. There's not a ton of blood or anything, but it still is a surgery. So viewer discretion is advised. If you are not squeamish and you are interested in this stuff, then keep watching because we're gonna get to that here in a second. Hey fellow equestrians, it's Claire here, and today I'm taking you guys with me through my foal Oakley's first ever trailering experience, as well as his first ever real surgery / vet visit. So yeah, I'm pretty excited to show this with you guys. It was pretty interesting, so let's get into the video. There's a little Dobby back there. Dobby! Hi, handsome. You in my video? Huh? Are you in my video? He's so cute. So almost 2 weeks ago, I took my foal Oakley to the vet and I got him gelded. So to those of you who don't know what that is, what a gelding procedure or castration procedure is, it's kind of like neutering but for a horse. So basically we removed his testicles and turned him from a stud horse into a gelding. So I personally wanted to have him be a gelding. I have no plans in the future on ever, using him as a stud and having him have babies. So I decided it would be best to geld him. Sometimes if you leave a horse as a stud, they can get more aggressive or more focused on girl horses instead of you. And I love my little happy-go-lucky gelding personalities. So I decided to geld him. Now, if you're going to geld a horse, it is, for the most part, better to do it earlier rather than later. So I had him gelded. He's 7 months old, so I decided why not go ahead and do it now and get it over with. Okay, so I did not explain this very well, so I'm going to elaborate as to why I chose to geld Oakley early. It's typically recommended to geld between the ages of 6 and 12 months. If they're gelded when they're over a year old, they run risks of having long-term stud behaviors. Also, as your colt ages, there's more blood supply to that region, causing a bigger risk of complications in the surgery. If the horses are younger when the operation's done, there's also less risk of any harm coming to the horse themselves or people around them, as well as younger horses do tend to heal much quicker from that operation than a bigger horse. And yeah, so those are just some extra reasons why I made this decision. Obviously, they weren't the only reasons, but yeah. To get him to my vets, it was a 40-minute drive, so I had to teach him how to trailer because the only time he had ever been in a horse trailer was right after he was born to come back to our barn from the vets with his mom. But he was like only a few days old, so he didn't really remember any of it. So 2 days before the procedure, I introduced him to my horse trailer. I had a bucket of grain and I got him in there 4 times. Got him in and out 4 times. Obviously, once he went in, I would, give him some of the grain and the treats and reward him, pat him, good boy. He didn't really care. He didn't necessarily want to go on. I have a very loud trailer, so the first time he got on, it was kind of scary. So the next couple of times, it took him a little bit longer to get on, but all it took was time and patience, and he figured it out and was like, okay, it's not scary. Cool. So then the day before the procedure, I got him in the trailer one more time, and that time it still took a little bit to get him in. But once I got him in my trailer, I drove him around for about 10-15 minutes to make sure there wasn't gonna, he wasn't gonna freak out or nothing crazy was gonna happen, because obviously I didn't want his first ever trailer ride to be 40 minutes long and go and have this procedure and come back. So he was wonderful for it. He was a little bit loud calling at first, and obviously I had him loose in the trailer because he's young and you don't want to tie them up. So he was turning around a little bit, but nothing too bad. So then the day come for the procedure, and this day he hopped in the trailer quicker than he ever had before. He literally jumped right in first thing and followed me with the grain. So I was so proud of him. I thought that this time was gonna be the hardest time to get him in, because last time I got him in the trailer, we went for a little drive. So, but no, he hopped right in. He was such a good boy. And thanks to Halo View, they sent me some trailer cameras that I set up in my trailer so that during the trailer ride, I could watch and keep an eye on Oakley and make sure he wasn't getting himself hurt and make sure he was staying calm and all of that. So that really kept me at ease because I was really nervous and worried about it. But Halo View has amazing cameras. They were really easy to install, honestly, and I had a nice little monitor in my truck. Now, of course, I don't know if you guys know me, but I'm a very last minute person. I did not set the cameras up until the day of, so I didn't really have the supplies I needed to hook a camera up in the back as well as the front of my trailer to see from both angles, so I just set both cameras up on the back. And I didn't actually mount my monitor in my truck. I just kind of had it sitting on my center console. But it worked. It did what it needed to do. And later on, I'm going to actually set that up properly. But I absolutely loved it. It worked flawlessly. It even had sound, which was crazy to me. But once I got him in, it was time to go, and we drove off. He was such a good boy. Such a good boy. I don't know how I got so lucky. But 40 minutes later, we are arriving at the vet's, and hops right out of the trailer, and we go into the building. He gets a real quick once over by my vet to make sure everything's good, make sure he's doing all right, he's growing just fine. He was going through a little growth spurt at the time. He was a little skinnier than he should be, but that's, you know, kind of how it is with foals. They go through weird phases and whatever. But other than that, he was completely good. And it was time to bring him outside and start the procedure. So once they brought him out, they went and put a rope around his neck to help tie his leg up when the procedure happened, and then they started to sedate him. So he needed 2 separate shots of 2 different types of sedation, and then it was time for him to go down. And he was a little resistive at first, but thankfully my awesome vet was able to get him down nice and safely, and it was time to start the procedure. So a castration or gelding procedure is done very quickly because the drugs don't last very long because it's not a major procedure. So as soon as he hit the ground, they were ready to go. So when they got him to the ground, they tied a rope around his back leg and tied it up to the rope on his neck to keep that up out of the way and to make sure that if for some reason he woke up during the procedure, he didn't start kicking and kick my poor vet or harm himself or anyone else. So after that, it was time to disinfect the area they were going to be working on, and then he basically sliced open the little area that he needed to get into, reached in, and he went ahead and clamped off his first testicle and threw it into the grass. And then, so he held that clamp there for a little bit just to make sure that everything was clamped off and he didn't, you know, bleed out or anything. And then it was time to do the second one, and same thing. Cut it open, clamp it off, throw it away. And yeah, so after that, like I said, it was a pretty easy, pretty minor procedure. Oakley had both testicles descended. Some can be cryptorchid or anything like that to where one is hidden or tucked up in there somehow, but Oakley was perfect. He had both of them down, and so it made for a nice, real quick, easy procedure. So afterwards, they just sprayed him with a little Alu spray, that silver spray, which is kind of like a spray-on Band-Aid, and they didn't even suture it up. So you want to make sure that they stay open so that they can drain, because you don't want all that stuff stuck up in there and causing an infection. But then it would pretty much heal up on his own. So yeah, like I said, the procedure was pretty darn easy. The hard part was getting him to wake up. Most of you guys know that Oakley is a pretty chill, pretty good baby. So he took his sweet time waking up. It took a while for him to wake up, but we finally got to the point where we were like, okay, you need to get up, dude, because you're gonna hurt yourself if you're laying down for too long and pinch a nerve or cause him to colic or mess him up in any other way. We didn't want that to happen. So we kind of had to coax him to sit up. And most of the time you worry about with horses, and especially foals, is them waking up from sedation and leaping up and hurting themselves or others around them. So usually you have to work pretty hard to make sure that they don't come up too fast. But Oakley, it was the opposite. So we had to coax him to get him to sit up, and once we got him sitting up, he just slowly started waking up, and he was actually eating grass while he was laying down, which was pretty cute. But then it was time to get up. He needed to get up and move his legs and start waking up. So we finally got to the point where we were like, okay, we have to start like really shooing him and trying to get him to get up, because he needed to get up. So after a little bit of coaxing, he finally stood up. Thank goodness. I was getting a little worried that he was going to be down for too long, but everyone at the vets were awesome. They were all really helpful in making sure everything went okay, and did everything in their power to keep my little baby safe. And yeah, so Oakley is a horse who doesn't care about anything. Like, I've smacked him a couple times, like on accident, like with a lead rope or something, and he just doesn't react. So I told the vet when it was time to wake him up, I was like, you can smack him as much as you want and wave things at him. He's not gonna care. He literally will not react, and that's what he did. He did not care. But thankfully he finally got up after a little bit of coaxing. And yeah, so once he got up, we just kind of let him find his legs again, because he was a little wobbly. He stood there for a while, and then he took a couple of wobbly steps and just slowly started to wake up. So yeah, everything went super great, honestly, in my opinion. It was easy peasy. It took him a while to wake up, but once we got him up, he was like awake. So I was really happy with how all of that went. Fun fact here. For some reason, it cost the exact same to get my dog neutered as it did to get my horse gelded. Didn't make much sense to me, but it was really inexpensive. I thought it was going to be a lot more than I originally anticipated, because he's a horse. He's much bigger than a dog. But no, it was honestly cheaper. So that was pretty weird. But yeah, no, Dobby's neutering surgery cost literally more than Oakley's gelding surgery, so that was very weird. But yeah, so after a little while of him waking up and making sure that he was recovering fine, it was time to put him back in the trailer and head back home. I wouldn't say he was still sleepy, but he wasn't, you know, back to being fully crazy alert. Like, he just took a nice nap and he had just woken up from it. So it took a little bit of help to get him in the trailer. For some reason, Oakley gets in the trailer a lot faster when you go put one of his front legs in the trailer for him, and then he'll stand up on it and get in. I don't know why. For some reason, he just gets in faster that way. He's starting to figure it out, but he'll get in without you doing it. It just has been taking a little bit longer. So I helped him out a little. I put his little legger up there for him, and then he was like, okay, and I'll go in now. But yeah, once he got in, gave him some treats, and then it was time to head home. So I was really happy with how everything went. And he, honestly, on the trailer drive home, he was pretty much asleep the whole time. And it was getting dark on the way back. My camera switched to night vision, which was pretty cool. But he was so good, and he recovered amazingly. He swole up a little bit afterwards, but only a little. And the only other thing I had to do for him was make sure he got out and was moving around as much as humanly possible to keep that swelling down, and to give him, obviously, his antibiotics. Anytime you're invasive at all with animals, it's always a good idea to give them antibiotics. So he was just on some antibiotics afterwards to make sure there wasn't an infection, and yeah. The only thing was he did get a little bit swollen on his neck where he had gotten one of his injections, but that's pretty normal. Wasn't an issue at all. So yeah, I'm really happy with how everything went. I'm really glad to have such awesome vets, and I am also very grateful to have Halo View get me those cameras for my trailer to give me some peace of mind. It was honestly the coolest thing ever, and I loved being able to go look over and check on how he was doing in my trailer while I was driving. So yeah, moral of the story here, I have the best behaving foal on the planet, and yeah, and he's now a gelding. He's no longer a colt. There's that. So I hope you all enjoyed it. I had never personally seen a castration in person because I've never had or dealt with studs or a lot of foals before in the past, so I thought it was pretty interesting to watch and I figured I'd share it with you guys. I wanted to share my first time ever trailering my foal with you guys and my first time ever taking him off property, taking him to that vet. Obviously he's gotten his vaccines before, but we had a vet come out for that and that wasn't really the same. So yeah, lots of firsts for my baby, and of course I'm documenting all of it and putting it up for you guys to watch. So I hope you all enjoyed it. I hope you all learned something from this. So yeah, real quickly before I end the video, I wanted to let you guys know that this video is yet again sponsored by my Horse World Club, so big thank you to them. If you guys haven't seen my last couple of videos where I talked about them, my Horse World Club is an amazing community for all types of horse lovers from all over the world, no matter what discipline, no matter anything. They have an awesome Instagram page and a great YouTube channel with lots of fun and interesting content. It's very different than a lot of the things I've been seeing lately, and I'm absolutely obsessed with them, so please go check them out, you guys. I will link their YouTube channel and Instagram page in the description below if you guys want to check them out. So be sure to subscribe to their YouTube channel and give their Instagram page a follow. And yeah, that's it. Yet again, check out my Horse World Club. They're amazing. You will love them. If you like my channel, if you like what you're watching now, then you're gonna like theirs. So go check them out. I guess that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed it, and I will catch you on the next video. Bye!